Hello again, it's James from JRTBs. It is June the 15th. It's 9 o'clock in the morning and it's already, I think, 72 degrees. Supposed to be around 86 and hot today. It's been a while, and last time I was in the apiary I was just pulling off full supers and getting them extracted and then getting them, the wet supers put right back on the same colonies they came off of, just to make sure they had room. We were right in the middle of the honey flow at that time. They're still working, but the honey flow is kind of slowed down. There's still white clover around, and I'm sure some other stuff, but the main honey flow, I think, has come and went. So this morning I want to get into a bunch of colonies, and there's still 3 colonies. This is number 12 right here that we're still making queens. So I've got 3 that I want to go in and make sure they have a queen, hopefully find the queen, mark her green, and just see what's going on. And I believe, there's only one. Number 11 is still a red queen from last year. Every other colony, except for the 3, have new green queens. There's a new queen in here, but I haven't found her yet, so I haven't marked her. So I'm gonna go through this one too with you and see if we can find her and get her marked. And then I'm gonna start talking mites, because I'm also gonna start doing mite washes today, and I'll show you how I do it. I use straight alcohol. It works really well for me. During the pandemic, I used windshield washer fluid, and that works really well too. But now, you can get the alcohol. The price came down, and you can find it now. So that's what I use. But I'll show you how I do it. I've got my kit right here for that. And then I gotta see if they're packed out with honey. Every single colony has one full super capped 40 pounds, and most of them I have it on top. And then if it's a big colony, there's 2 supers under the full, and a smaller colony there was 1 super, because they need room, because everything's a single deep brood box now. The queens are all below, so they need room to store honey. So depending on what I find, I might have to start pulling some of those supers that are underneath the full one and extracting it and getting it back on, because they definitely need room to move any honey up so they can continue raising brood. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm leaving the top full of honey for the winter, because I'm hoping to get a fall honey this fall, but I have to kind of time it right so they have the room underneath the full super. And but usually around here we still have the whole month of July. Usually mid-July the honey flow is completely over. There's always like a little bit of a trickle coming in, but they'll start eating honey. So I have to I don't want them to eat the full super. I want to leave enough honey in between. So I've never done it like this before, but I got to try to, hopefully they can eat all the honey between the full one and the bottom box, and then they'll have all that open comb when the honey flow hits in the fall, if we get one. We might not even get one this year, but I really like that dark honey, the goldenrod, and everyone that buys the honey, they really like that dark honey. It's kind of unique. You can't buy that in ShopRite. It has a real strong taste, and as you beekeepers know, the smell is really strong. They say it smells like dirty socks, and it does have a smell, but I've grown to really love that smell, and I really like that dark honey. So that's what I'm going to try to do this fall. So I took off I extracted 9 full supers, and that was just shy of 400 pounds of spring honey. I really don't need. I still have spring honey from last year, so but I can't let them get plugged out. So I'm gonna have to pull it if it's capped and it's in the way. But all right, let's see. I got the smoker hopefully still lit. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna get into number 12 first, and hopefully they have a queen. And I'll walk you through the mite wash, and you'll see what I see. Hopefully I'm looking for a 0 this time of year. Half a cup of bees is roughly 300 bees. And they say if there's 6 or less, you're good under the threshold. This time of year in June, I don't want to see any, but if I see 2, I'm okay. I'll leave them. If I see 6 or more, then I have to make a decision, and I might do a treatment. If I see like 20, my highest ever was 28. So this box is not the top box. See, I have blue tape, leave for fall. This one's full, and this one looks like it's almost full. So I might have to extract. But yeah, if there's like 6 to 10, I'll just do a soft treatment just to keep those numbers where they are. I use oxalic acid vapor. If it's like 20 or more, then as soon as the temperature allows, I go right for the Formic Pro. I don't mess around with the mites. We'll see. So that box there, it's not full. It's like half full. So there's still a little room in there. And some of these I might have to just pull out, like 4 frames and extract them and get them back in just so they have some room. Let's see. This one is full. So that's the full one I'm leaving. So I'm going to move this one over. That one I'm going to put that one back on top when I put it back together. So this colony, looks like a good colony, but it's definitely not overpopulated, boiling with bees. So let's see if we got a queen. It's early, so there's still a lot of bees home, so I don't know how happy they're going to be to see me. Sorry I'm in the way. This first frame out of here. Real slow. You never know where a queen could be. So that's all bee bread. Bee bread and honey. Bee bread. There is some larvae there. And that's regular brood. So they do have a queen, just right here from this one frame, I could tell that. I don't know if you can see there's a little patch right here of curled up larvae. So the next frame, set this to the side, should have brood on it. See? Yep, there's some brood. I'm looking for a queen. Obviously no mark. They're starting to cap that. It looks like not a very good pattern kind of there, but they're putting it in between bee bread and some nectar. That looks a little better there. Oh, there's a queen right there. She's marked green already. So my notes, you see her right there? My notes are wrong. Okay, I'm gonna catch her now in a clip. That's so weird. My notes say no queen. Alright, so I got the queen safe in a clip. And when I do mite washes, that's number one for me. I usually won't do a mite wash until I find the queen. So this one's got open brood. But now I'm looking for a frame of open brood to do the mite wash. There's not that many bees on this one, so let's go a little deeper. I'm gonna get my plastic tub, just a regular cheap Walmart plastic tub, 1/2 inch measuring cup. Get the tub on the ground, and then I use this Easy Check. And be careful with the. You don't want to spill this into the hive; you'll kill them. But that's just regular alcohol. So I'm gonna get this on the ground. This way I got everything ready. So let's find some bees now. Now we know the queen's safe. That's so weird. I wrote a note to check number 12 for queen. So that's all capped brood. And that's capped. Beautiful frame of capped brood. Good pattern. That's not. I'm looking for open brood and mostly nurse bees. Check for the mites. I'm also looking for swarm cells, but I think the swarming, I haven't seen any swarming in weeks. Plus, every queen is new, and usually when you get a new queen, they usually won't swarm unless it gets completely packed out, like I said, with honey. If you got nowhere to make brood, it doesn't matter if it's a new queen. We'll try to swarm, but a new queen in the spring is a good thing for swarming, or for not swarming. Okay, here's eggs and larvae. So that hatched out, she relayed it. And there's some open larvae. Same with this side. So this is a good one to shake. So I'll just show you here real quick. I just put it in, give it a bump. I know the queen's safe. I think there's enough bees in there yet. I'll get one more. This looks like a new frame I stuck in there to see if they can work. And I drew this side out good. It's full of eggs and larvae. But this side is kind of funky. Not going to worry about it right now. But shake that one in. Now, get my Easy Check opened up. Any bees that fly out, you know, the nurse bees will stay in there, and I just shake them down to the corner. Get a good scoop. Dump them in. Put the cap on. These caps sometimes get cross-threaded and they leak. All right, so they're dead. Set that up there. These bees, I can dump them right back in. And I hate killing bees, but more than that, die every day out in the field and just from old age. And I think this is really important to check your mite levels, you know, well before August when they start to raise winter bees. I'm just going to check these few more frames, make sure there's no swarm cells. That's all eggs. Not seeing any sign of swarming. That's all eggs and larvae. This colony's doing great. Other than that one frame there that got some wonky comb. One side looks fine. Look at that. Sheet of brood. No swarm cells. So this colony is going to get bigger, but this time of year, with all the flying they do, they just don't live very long, and a lot die every day, and a lot hatch every day, so it's kind of, I think it kind of equals out a little bit, but another full sheet of brood. Yeah, this is a good queen. And then that last frame, might as well just check it. Looks like the food frame. So there's brood on every one of these frames in here. And doing a single brood box management, that's what you want to see. And then usually there's one of these honey frames. This is all honey and bee bread. Bunch of drones. I'm going to take this chance to just clean this side of the box off. Good bees, very mellow, even though it's so early. It's a little cloudy still. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to put these back together. So no sign of swarming. Usually when you get to this point, should be good with the swarming. Brood and some honey. Slip that one back down into here. Watch out, girls. They're starting to get a little grumpy. I don't blame them. Tighten it all up. I always clean the propolis off where those top bars are hitting. It just gives you a little bit more room. Last frame. This was that bee bread frame. So that's good. It's usually what you want to see, a stores frame on either side, and then 8 frames of brood. That's pretty typical for single brood management. As long as I got the room up above. Here's our queen. We'll let her go. I thought for sure they didn't have a queen. All right, she's back down in. Queen excluder. This was the top box. There's still a little room left in that one. I'm going to pull a frame out and see what it's looking like. Next week is supposed to be just brutal. It's supposed to be a 95 all week. It's spring honey. They're still capping it. I bet you this is all thick enough to harvest. Both of the frames next to it look the same. I had one super a few weeks ago. Nothing was there. The whole super was not capped, and it was. I checked it with the tool, and it was 15%, and it's so thick. It was really hard to extract because it was so thick. Yeah, you can't always go by if it's not capped, it's no good. That one's pretty full. Yep, capped on that side. So I'm gonna make a note, and we're gonna have to get in here and pull some of this out. Alright, let me get that heavy one and put that on top. Oh, this one is probably 40 pounds. It's hard to have to move these every time you go in, but so I'm going to try this here. Alright, hold on a sec. Blue tape. This is the easiest way I found. It'll stay on long enough. Doesn't damage the boxes. I'm gonna write almost, pull, pull, pull some frames, and spin. I'm gonna put the date 6/15. So yeah, I gotta give them a little bit more room. But that's kind of like the fine balance. I mean, they might eat a lot of that in July and August, but I don't think they'll eat all of that. So I'd rather be a little safe and give them some of that room than just leave all that on there. And then they run out of room and start plugging up the nest. Right now the nest is perfect. Okay, so I got my bees in here. They were dead for a while. Make sure the lid's on, and then just shake, swirl, really shake. If there's any mites, you want to get them off. And you can hear the little basket kind of spins around in there, and I think it might help agitate and scrape them off. I say I do this for a minute. I do it for at least 30 seconds. And I don't know what we're going to find. It might be embarrassing. We'll see. Starting to leak a little bit. Alright, I think that should be good. So let's tip you up here and we'll look together. Hopefully you can see in there. I'm looking. I see like there's always some junk floating around. There's that one black piece of junk there, but I'm not seeing any mites at all. Let me shake it a little bit more. All right. Nope, 0 mites. So that's exactly what I want to see this time of year. Doesn't mean there's no mites, but it just means they're so low that they're not registering, and that's perfect. That's what you want. And it doesn't mean there's no mites in the rest of the colonies. I know they say just, you check a couple here and there, and I do that, but eventually I check every single colony, because I've had just one. Like, I found one last year down on the end. I think it had 16 mites, and the 2 next to it had 0s. So I had to treat that one colony differently, and that's what I do. I mean, I don't have, hundreds of colonies where I, would just, if I find one mite, I treat all of them. So I'm just going to dump the bees over here. And now this is good to go for another check. So we got smoke. So I'm going to write in my notes here. Number 12 has a green queen, 0 mites. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let me take you through one more. See if we find something different. So this colony had a queen every time I went in there, but I've never found her. Had to get some more fuel in the smoker. Alright, I know what I forgot. The foam that I use under the hood. Okay. Make sure you can see what I'm seeing. Lots of bees up in the top here. So this hive right off the bat has a lot more bees than number 12 next to it. So this one might be a contender to add another box, just because of the congestion. And obviously they're raising more bees. This is the box I have marked leave for winter. Let's see how heavy this one is still. Kick the tripod. These are heavy. Oh yeah. Oh. All of 40 pounds. Whew. Keep feeling things crawling on me under my suit. There's lots of ticks. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't know if the bees attract the ticks, but there's always ticks around the bees. I'm going to lower you down a little. So I always have to check when I get done, and I'm always finding ticks crawling on me and starting to dig in. I think this box is full. I'm going to have to probably spin it and pull the middle frame out. Let's see. You guys know how much work honey extraction is, especially when it's really hot. Yeah, it's completely capped, so they got nowhere. They have literally nowhere to put any honey. I'm wondering if I should just take this one off now. I might have another super. You know what, I'll do it after I don't want to bore you. But yeah, this is, oh wow. And this is, if you see what I have here, this is the box I spun. It was completely full, and I put it back on at the end of May. So it's been about, 2 weeks. And it's completely full and capped again. Wow. So this is definitely a strong colony. Oh, yep, full. Ooh. So that colony right there produced 3 full supers. And not every colony is created equal. I'm gonna have to do something about that. All right. Stuff ready for mite wash. And I got to try to find this queen. Haven't found her yet. Brood on the edge. Capped brood, honey all around the top, even on the outside. This was facing out. Brood. Queen could be anywhere. I don't see any eggs, it's all brood and larva. Yeah, this colony needs some space. I hope I don't have too many of these because I don't have the equipment just laying around. Everything's pretty much on. Brood. Definitely got to check this one for swarm cells. Look at that. Well, this queen is great. Hopefully I can find her today. If I don't find the queen, then I don't do a mite wash. I don't worry about it. I move on, do another one. I always have it with me this time of year, so if I find the queen, I could isolate her, make sure she's safe. Otherwise, I don't do it. I'll make some more videos, but typically what I do, August, yeah, see they're backfilling with honey right there. You can see that. It's all nectar. It's supposed to be brood. Look at that. I usually don't find a queen on capped brood frames, but I'm keeping a good eye out for her. When I'm looking for a queen too, I got 2 out. I'm taking this one out as well. Just gives you more room and there's less bees in here. I was saying in August, that's when I start my oxalic acid. If I'm seeing all, good numbers, 2s, 3s, under 6, yeah, oxalic acid, I'll do it every single week, once a week, all through August. Vaporization, I'll make a video, and it seems to really work for me. And I don't think it totally wipes the mites out, but say you do a mite wash and you have a 3, what it does through the month of August, it keeps it at 3, or it might drop it to a 2, but doing it once every week, all through the month, about 5 times, it'll keep it from expanding, the mites. And that, you know, if your number's already under 6, it's in the threshold, it's low enough. If you can keep it there, I think, through that month, and then usually the second week of September is when I pull all the honey, and I use Apivar all the way up until Halloween. So between the oxalic acid through August, Apivar through September and into October, that's pretty much what I've been doing every year. And I don't see the queen. I've only lost, I think I've only lost 2 colonies to actual mite problems. 1 colony starved out this March. That was my fault. But seems to be working here for me. I don't know how it would work where you guys are, but I'll make videos. Bee bread. This is heavy. This is right in the middle. There's eggs. Boy, this queen is hard to find. It's hard to see. No, there's no eggs in there yet. It's all polished. Oh, she just started laying. She should be close. There's a few eggs there. It's all polished, ready for her to lay, but she's got to be close. Typically find them in the middle frames. Don't see her. I'm gonna get my marker out. Just a little smoke. They're being good. Sorry about my arm. More capped brood. No sign of swarming, but they definitely need some space. But again, it's a brand new queen. I know this is not the red queen from last year. So typically a new queen will stay. Next spring, forget it. She'll be gone if you don't manage the swarming, or make splits, or take her out and do a split. It's just hard if you don't want to expand in the spring. What are you supposed to do? You got to make a split, take the queen out, make a split with the queen, or just make walk-away splits, but then you have more bees, more colonies. If you don't want to, I'm pretty much maxed out. This is all bee bread, really heavy honey. I know it might be cruel, but I was thinking, I mean, if you don't have any room to expand, you could just simply find the queen in the spring when they're starting to swarm and you have some good swarm cells for new queens, and just find her and pinch her. And then take down all the swarm cells, leave 2 really good ones, and let them make a nice new queen. And that should take care of the swarming, and you won't have to have more colonies unless you have, you know, someone to give them to or sell them to. Then you can make that split with the queen. I might start doing that. But what I've learned is if you do that, you leave 2 cells and then close it back up and take the queen out. As soon as you take the queen out, they're like, uh-oh, we have no queen. And even though there's 2 beautiful queen cells you left in there, they will just start making emergency cells everywhere. And it had to happen this year. It happens every year. If you don't go back in there for like 5-6 days later and go down and knock them all down, every single emergency queen cell, then the new queen will emerge, and she'll be walking around, and she'll go out and start doing mating flights, and then all those other queens will start emerging, and they'll just be all kinds of virgin swarms. It's such a pain in the neck. There's eggs here, but no queen. But yeah, that's important. And I didn't have a lot of time this spring, so I just did splits, and I tried doing it without going back in. I was lazy, didn't have time, and that happens almost every time. You have to go back and take out all the emergency cells. You don't want those queens from the emergency cells. They're just not nearly as good as a swarm cell. Because a swarm cell, from the minute that egg gets laid, it's a queen. And they say those eggs are bigger and stronger and better than an emergency queen. Yeah, this queen is definitely a hider. Maybe you guys saw her. I cannot find it. Cannot find her. She might be a wall queen. So if I don't find it, then I don't do. I might rush. It's just not worth it to me to accidentally kill your queen. Let's see, I found them on the last frames before. Oh, it's a heavy one. Ugh. There's brood on it though. Lots of drones. I don't see her. I was probably talking too much. Well, no swarm cells, no sign of swarming, but they definitely need space. There's definitely a queen in there somewhere. I'm just going to put them back together, and I'll write down that I still can't find the queen. And we won't worry about a mite check. Sometimes I put her down on the ground, so I'm going to check these before I put them back in. Don't see her. Capped brood. Where is she? Yep. I mixed up the frames a little bit. These two came from this side, but it's so warm. It's going to be so warm. It's not, I don't think it's a big deal this time of year. There's brood on every single frame, and honey. So I got nowhere else to put it, so yeah, I'm gonna have to get something for this hive, some space, extract some honey. I can't believe they filled that wet super egg back up. And this was the frame on the end. There's honey and brood, both sides. Checking again for the queen. Don't see her. That last frame, if there's a lot of bees, I like to just shake some off. Just make sure it's better to put them in. You won't crush any. Okay. Always center up your frames best you can if you have room. Not crushing any of the bees. Alright, well. Put the queen excluder back on. Watch out, girls. Alright. So I'm gonna got some other colonies to check for queens. I gotta check and see about that honey. But I'm gonna walk back up to the honey house and see if I have a super I can give them. Even if it's just foundation, it'll give them space, and you know, they can start propolising it and maybe start drawing it out. But yeah, I gotta go up to the barn and see what I got. But I don't want to bore you with that. Alright, well, good luck with your bees. Hopefully you're getting some honey, and hopefully your swarming is done like I think it is here. Alright, I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.